Morency Unfiltered on the Fantasy Sports Network continues. Let's bring in the one and only Myk Aussie to talk some AFL football and maybe a little Olympics as well. As Ryan Lockte isn't the only swimmer to find himself in a so-called robbery. It's amazing. This story is sort of flown under the radar, but Australian swimmers Josh Palmer and Emma McKeon actually were robbed. They were robbed, and then now they're in hot water with the Australian Olympic Committee because they broke curfew. They were robbed, but they got robbed at like 4 a.m. because they stayed out in a nightclub in Copacabana. A gunman made them go to the ATM and take $1,000 out, and they're in trouble. You figure they'd be like, oh my God. And the thing is, they both won gold medals. They both won. You figure, hey, you want a gold medal, whatever, go out and party all night. But evidently, no, the Australians are pissed. They're like, you're an embarrassment to the country. How dare you go out and get robbed at 4 a.m? And now they're banned from the closing ceremonies. So we bring in Myk Aussie. What's going on, Myk?
Yeah, mate, I saw that story late last night as I was about to turn the laptop off. So, yeah, crazy stuff. But, you know what, I kind of got to agree with some kind of curfew at the Olympic Village because, I mean, if you're going to compete next day, you want to have a lot of sleep. So I kind of agree with it being quiet within the Olympic quarters. But, mate, there must be a good opportunity where these guys chat up the girls over coffee, eh?
Well, yeah, they give each Olympic athlete like 40 condoms, Myk, for 2 weeks. So
I know.
They almost encourage it, but like you said, I kind of get it. Part of me thinks, whatever, man. Emma McKeon, she's a grown woman. She's done competing. She won a gold medal. And whatever. She broke curfew. She was out at a club. But I get the point as well, Myk, because like you said, it's a team effort, right? It's not just about you. Like, there's other athletes in the village that are competing still, that, it can't be an all-out party zone, and, half the people are wasted and the other people are trying to train for the biggest event of their lives. But I do find it amazing that, the United States Olympic Committee really did nothing. They let Hope Solo run her mouth and call people cowards and embarrass the team. Now Ryan Lockte, releases a half-assed, candy-ass apology that really wasn't an apology. But hey, you guys take it much more seriously, man. The Australian team, disciplined, and they're banned from the closing ceremonies, even though they're both gold medalists.
Yeah, crazy, mate. And I hate liars, cheats, and thieves. And Ryan Lockte, what a disgrace. But this is why, we've got a lot of American great listeners listening right now. But this is why Americans are generally not really liked in a lot of parts of the world, because they just mouth off these guys. And look at Usain Bolt. Perfect example of an absolute great guy, great gentleman. So a lot of Americans need to just calm down a bit, calm it down, eh?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. It's the ugly American factor at work here, but look at Michael Phelps, class act, right?
Yeah.
Michael Phelps isn't vandalizing gas stations and making up stories, right? So it's not all the Americans, but Hope Solo and Ryan Lockte definitely, two pretty big jerks.
Yeah, absolutely, mate, and pretty disgraceful. But let's go back to that robbery. I think Brazil's copped a bit of a bad deal on all this. The crowds are terrible. Why? Because the bad media built up that the games were going to be so bad. I'm loving the athletics, like the 100 metre, the 200, fantastic with Canadians at grass. But there's no one in the crowd, mate, because tourists obviously haven't gone there. Now, it's partly Brazil's fault, but some of the bad media has really ruined that country. So I feel sorry for all the people of Brazil that don't even have much money. The country's going to be ruined in debt. That's what I think.
I can't disagree with that. Although the crowds have been okay, Myk. I wouldn't say that the crowds have been bad. Maybe the TV ratings, or there's been a lot of negativity about the games. I'll give you that. So let's jump in here, Myk. Let's talk some AFL footy. Let's start off with Great Western Sydney and the Dockers. Western Sydney 70.5-point favorites against the Dockers. The total's 184.5. How many more weeks are left in the season?
Well, there's only 2 more games, mate. Then we have a bye, then the finals. And, yeah, the Giants, they got beat by your Eagles at the last minute there last week. Fantastic game on TV. Giants will win that, but I'm not sure they'll cover. So take the Dockers to cover, but the Giants to win. They want one of those top 4 spots. So Giants Giants are a good team. Had a bit of a letdown last week.
Yeah, that's a lot of points, 70.5. That's a lot of points. I'm not in a hurry. I'm going to pass on this game. The only time I've taken the spreads like this, I never lay this many points, Mick, in the AFL. And the one time I did, if you remember earlier in the year, I took Essendon like plus 86 or something. I was like, that's a lot of points. And they ended up losing by 107. So I stay away from these big numbers. All right, we've got Collingwood. Collingwood minus 27.5 against Gold Coast, total 180.
Oh, they'll win that. They'll probably cover. Suns got beat by the Bombers last week. The drug guys, the Bombers, they beat them. So Magpies all over the place. They can't make the 8. Nathan Buckley, the legend player, now the coach. Pressure on him to keep his job. So Magpies will win, probably cover that one, but not much in that game. No real interest there, mate.
Yeah, I'll put them in a parlay, though. I'll put the Pies in a parlay, minus 450. Money line, we'll see who else we can pair them up with. We've been doing pretty well with the AFL money line parlays this year on the show. So we've got a rivalry game here, Mick, with the Power and your Crows, Port Adelaide and Adelaide.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in Adelaide. It's a Power home game, but I bet you lots of the Crows fans will be scooping up the tickets off the Power supporters because they're useless. They're way down the bottom. Crows are going real well, mate, and they're gunning for top spot now. Now that your Eagles beat the Hawks last night, Crows will win that. Although, you know what, it's a rivalry, so the Power will come up and probably play a bit better than normal. I think they'll cover, though. Crows are looking good. Jacobs is back, the ruckman. They're looking good towards the finals, mate. All
right, we're gonna put them in, but we need one more game still. So we move on to Carlton and the Demons. Melbourne, 22.5-point favorites in this game. Low total, 165.5.
Yeah, interesting game because this is amazing. The Demons are still an outside chance to make the playoffs. If the North Melbourne Kangaroos lose and they lose next week and Demons win, they can maybe sneak in on percentage over the Kangaroos. So take the Demons to win that because there's still a chance. I think they'll cover too.
You think the Demons will cover the 22, huh?
Yeah, I think so, mate. They're, like I say, a chance to make the playoffs. You're going to make sure you're going to win and you're going to be gunning, and every player's going to make sure they're not going to get dropped for the next week. So, yeah, a lot on that game for the Demons.
Big spread once again with Brisbane and the Cats. The Cats minus 57.5.
Yeah, take the Cats to win, but maybe not cover. It's up there in Brisbane. Cats are going okay, but I think the spread's a little bit high because it's up there at the Gabba in Brisbane. Take the Cats to win, though. Yeah,
we got another monster spread here with the Bombers and the Bulldogs. Essendon getting 45.5 points.
Yeah, the Bulldogs, they're another team that are sitting 7th right now, so they're a chance to get in the top 4. Bulldogs will win that. It's down there in Melbourne. Bombers, they had a win last week, but they're terrible this year with all the players getting rubbed out. Bulldogs, they're young, few injuries, but no, they're looking okay. I like the Bulldogs to win that one and probably cover.
Yeah, so we got a Collingwood, Adelaide, and Western Bulldog moneyline parlay. It's minus 200.
Yeah. You take the Giants on that as well, maybe?
Yeah, the thing is that it's 66-1, but yeah, it makes it minus 193. And let's say we could put in if we put in the Cats also at 40-1, makes it 179. It's like it's a lot. It's a 5-game for minus 179. It's not great odds on that. You know, like you bet a 5-game parlay. Normally it's like at least plus 100 in a situation like this. But everyone are such big favorites this week.
Yeah, and the other game, the Tigers and the Saints, that could go either way, so keep away from that one as well. Mate.
Yeah. All right, Mick, so the countdown is on. NFL football around the corner. CFL football season keeps on going. They say the CFL doesn't really start, Mick, until Labor Day.
Yeah, well, I don't really agree with that, especially this year with the BC Lions and the Stampeders having a nice lead out here in the West. The Eskimos, they need to win tomorrow there in Toronto. I think they will, and I think the Tiger Cats will smash the Riders. God, huge stories out here with Chris Jones, the Rabbit Riders coach, because in Australia we call a rabbit a bit of a dumb animal, dumb person. Chris Jones has been an absolute idiot, and I'm going to say he's pretty much cheating and really stretching the rules. So a lot of talk about Chris Jones, the Riders coach, who I used to like. Nah, he's going way overboard, mate. Yeah,
you guys in Edmonton are enjoying watching Jones struggle, huh?
Oh, it's awesome, and the funny thing is, I mean, Bo Levi Jeans Mitchell, the quarterback for the Stampeders, I didn't like him, but I like him now. And he got fined by the CFL for telling the truth about the Riders having extra players. Like, that was a bit soft. So I tweeted him a picture of his Bo Levi bacon chips saying, mate, if I could sell some of these and you got a bit of a percentage, I'd help you, mate, because, yeah, that was a bit weak too, eh?
Myk Aussie. All right, yeah, so what do you think happens? So with the Argos tomorrow, I think the Argos bounced back after losing last week.
Oh, well, Ricky Ray's not in, mate. And, no, Eskimos they know they got to keep up with the BC Lions and the Stamps. And, you know, hopefully I'm down there at Labor Day. Like you said, the CFL starts at Labor Day. Hopefully I'm down there at Eskimos and Stamps on Monday and the Labor Day. Fantastic weekend. But, yeah, I schedule my whole weekend around the CFL, mate.
We'll take a quick break. We'll wrap things up, and then we'll give you a couple of plays to ponder.